Masters of war. You that build the big guns. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. You had behind the big guns. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. You had behind walls guns. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. You don't have to take it no more. You know the rich, they always want more. Keep the rich. Big guns. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. Masters of war. You that build the big guns. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. You had behind walls. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. You had behind walls. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. You had behind walls.
United States is still the greatest purveyor of violence. As we had witnessed, Ukraine could not continue its war with Russia without US support. Israel could not do its Gaza genocide for 15 months without bombs and planes supplied by United States. We are here to remind our congressmen and senators that we need to stop these wars. We need to join the Nuclear Weapons Ban Treaty. After the event, some of us will be delivering our demands to the two senators' offices here, Senator Alex Padilla and Adam Schiff, and Jim Costa's office. In 1985, Reagan and Gorbachev agreed that a nuclear war cannot be won and it must never be fought. At that time, the 5 nuclear states, USA, USSR, China, France, and United Kingdom, agreed to that statement that it should never be fought, and they agreed that they will reduce the risk of war and reduce the nuclear weapons. Unfortunately, some of our politicians and many of our leaders in Pentagon think they can win a limited nuclear war. It is asinine. There is no such thing as a limited nuclear war. When a nuclear war starts, it is the end of our civilization. Thank you. Now we have current board member and past president of Peace Fresno, Camille Russell, who will talk to us about the doomsday clock.
We have this wonderful model right here that represents the doomsday clock. So as you can see, that's where it is right now. But as I speak, Ken Hudson is going to help us by moving the hands to make it show where it has been in other places during the nuclear age. The doomsday clock is a metaphorical representation of how close humanity is to self-destruction. It was created in 1947 for the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists that was inspired by discussions among scientists who had worked on the Manhattan Project that created the first bomb. They were extremely concerned about the urgent need to control nuclear weapons. The clock uses the imagery of a countdown to midnight to convey the urgency of threats of a nuclear war, which will end the destruction of life on Earth as we know it. That's all life on Earth. Within just a few months or years, all of the planet's animals and people, everything we know here that's part of our environment will be destroyed. The clock's original setting in 1947 was 7 seconds to midnight. Oops. Not seconds. 7 seconds. Fiddlesticks. 7 minutes to midnight. Okay, that was when it was first created. That means in 7 minutes, a nuclear bomb will explode, beginning events that will end life. It has since been moved backward and forward many times. The farthest time it was 17 minutes to midnight in 1991 when the Soviet Union collapsed. Due to wars and geopolitical crises in many parts of the world, the clock has been moving closer and closer to midnight, and now it is at 89 seconds to midnight. The closest that it has ever been. Just yesterday, the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists made their annual report and moved the doomsday clock to that position of 89 seconds.
Hello. So yeah, here's the sign about what Camille just said. I am Teresa. I'm the branch chair of WILF, Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. And we have a disarm committee that it's a national committee as well as local. You can join a WILF group, us locally. You can join the national group. You can join Back from the Brink. You can join ICANN. You can do it on your own. What we need are voices, and the voices aren't there. If we had, I believe the statistics is something like 3.5% of our population. That's very small. If we had that many people letting our representatives know that we disapprove of something, we will have change happen. That's very low. The few of us know people, we can expand this. I don't need to keep saying why. We all know why. That's why you're here today. Pick up information, it's at the table, and see what you can do.
Hi, everyone. Whoops. As Dan said, I'm Ann Merrill with Peace Fresno.
Get close to the mic.
And I will be leading you today in our No War, No Nuclear Weapons DieIN. So a DieIN is a form of nonviolent public protest. We are here to dramatize the horrors of war and nuclear annihilation by lying down upon the cardboard mats as if we were corpses. Or you can sit in a chair and slump over the table or stand with your head bowed, whatever works with you. So, we are here to demand that Trump and Congress stop the wars, genocide, and the threat of nuclear weapons. It's time to join with over half of the countries in the world and sign the treaty to ban nuclear weapons. And there's more information about that on the table, along with other steps the U.S. can take to make the world a safer place. Our government acts as if it's possible to win a limited nuclear war. We are spending hundreds of billions of dollars to upgrade the U.S. nuclear arsenal, while the nuclear weapons we already have are enough to blow up the world several times over. And the U.S. practices nuclear war games with NATO, where many of our intercontinental ballistic missiles with nuclear warhead capabilities are stationed. As if we can win a nuclear war. But nuclear weapons are not ordinary weapons. Modernizing our nuclear weapons does not make us safer. It only promotes the perception that a nuclear war can be fought and won. And that is a false narrative. With our launch on warning policy, an intercontinental ballistic missile, once launched, intentionally or by accident, can't be redirected or recalled. As long as there are nuclear weapons, there is a risk of nuclear war. It can happen in a few short minutes. So the details for the DieIN are pretty basic. First, I will move the hands of the doomsday clock to midnight, and then there will be a nuclear attack siren will go off, indicating that the catastrophic end of the world as we know it is upon us. At which point, everybody turns into a corpse and we fall to the ground. So we have some mats there. There's mats over there. I got a couple mats here. Whatever you want to grab, kind of get ready to grab them at that time and find your sweet spot on the ground. As we lie on the ground, there will be a moment of silence as we contemplate our annihilation. Then there will be music to uplift our souls. And finally, we will rise up chanting, "No war, no nukes." All right. And now, as the world engages in the unimaginable war and genocide and hovers on the brink of nuclear disaster, the doomsday clock strikes midnight.
I think you will find when your death is cold.
Thank you. Just to make a correction, LASA Against War is a horizontal organization, and we share all of the direction and leadership. And I'm really proud with Gloria Hernandez and Lori, who have been the principal, subscribers and architects of that. But right now, I hope I'm not. I don't want to change the direction or the value of this moment, but I want to bring in the fact that Israel has been a leading proliferation agent in the world, in the Middle East specifically. But if you were to compare the amount of nuclear weapons that Israel has, all of this has been developed since the 60s under contracts with France, who helped them develop their first nuclear reactors that were supposed to have been used for peacetime purposes. However, since then, we should probably ask France why they have disengaged from Israel in supporting that development. Obviously, it's clear that with the material that was created through those reactors, as well as the fact that Israel diverted 300 kilograms of weapons-grade uranium from the United States naval propulsion reactor in the late 1960s, that they have enough fissile material to make up to or over 200 weapons. What we do know with fair degree of certainty is they have 90 developed nuclear weapons, correct. But experts say that it's very likely in the range over 200 up to 250 nuclear weapons that are ready to deploy at this time. And if that's true, then that would place Israel in about the number 5 spot in the world, behind the United States, Russia, I believe it's France. Like, I think France is it would place them right between France and the United Kingdom. I think that France has about 290 and the United Kingdom has about 220 nuclear weapons. So that would place them roughly in the number 5 position. And, you know, if Israel is capable of dropping 75,000 and 100,000 tons of destructive force on Gaza, this an area that's not even the size of Fresno County, do we doubt for a minute that Israel will not deploy nuclear weapons? Of course they won't deploy it in Gaza. Why? Because they want Gaza. Of course they won't deploy it in the West Bank because they want the West Bank. Would they deploy it against Iran? Would they have deployed it against Libya or Syria, or the fortitude to resist or attack them? I figured that without a doubt we can say that Israel is the biggest nuclear proliferator and the biggest nuclear danger in the Middle East. But just remember, according to this same source of verified statistics, Hiroshima and Nagasaki received the equivalent of between 15 and 20,000 tons of TNT, explosives, dropped on them to end World War II, supposedly. And Israel has dropped between 75,000 and 100,000 tons on Gaza. If that's not an outrage, then I don't know what your level of outrage is. But we should be pushing back on this every day. And I thank Peace Fresno for taking the leadership on this. And it's very much connected to what's happening in Israel right now. And that's why we have to fight on that front also. But I would also like to take note of personal privilege, and I hope you can bear with me. But I'm really wanting to also draw attention to Dr. Hussam Abu Safia, director of the Kamal Adwan Hospital, who stood up to the IDF and was targeted and severely wounded on November 23rd by an Israeli drone. On December 27th, this is Dr. Safia, a highly respected director of the hospital at Adwan, Kamal Adwan. This is him when he was announcing his opposition to the IDF and his resistance to them shutting down his hospital. And he was resisting the IDF in their evacuation of the hospital. This is him, the last time he was seen in public. He's walking through the ruins of the hospital. He's walking up to Israeli tanks, barefoot and humiliated, to turn himself in, and he hasn't been seen since then. If that's not another outrage, then I don't know what the level of outrage in the United States must be. We pray for his safety. We will not rest until he is returned alive and well, or in whatever condition the Creator has determined, and his abductors are punished. Thank you very much, and thank you, Peace Fresno.
I want to thank Fresno Peace Coalition for sponsoring and helping us organize, helping Peace Fresno organize the event. We'll be taking a letter which specify our demands. Those demands are: end war in Ukraine, stop military aid to Israel, and join the nuclear weapons ban treaty. So some of us will be going to Senators Adam Schiff and Alex Padilla's office and Jim Costa's office. Thank you.
I think you will find when you get that exposed. All the money you made will not buy back your